Good morning and welcome to our views, the favorite part of the show. My name is Sandra Cobb and I'm joined by my colleagues Aggie and Shivan. And today we are discussing women with careers and family life, being mothers and being wives as well. Can you have it all? And we posted this on our social media pages and it went like career women and the myth of having it all. Can a woman have a successful career and be a great mother too? So, ladies, digging into this conversation, and my first question, do you think gender roles have curtailed women from reaching their full potential?
Absolutely.
How so?
Gender roles, let's look at the stereotypes, let's look at the social norms, let's look at what society has said women can and cannot do. I mean, earlier on I was having a conversation with Patricia Polota and she was saying that as women we should stop hiding under the guise of saying what you can and what you cannot do. However, it is the society we live in. We cannot start changing it unless society starts by changing. Society has said if by the age of 35 you're not married, something is wrong with you. If by the age of 40 you do not have children, something is wrong with you. That if you decide to want something more than getting married, then there is something wrong with you. Because they think, or what society has said, is that the best thing that can ever happen to a woman is a man coming to walk you down the aisle. But some of us were not cut out for that. Some of us, marriage is not the heaven or the ideal or the biggest achievement. However, that is what society has said. That is what gender roles are saying, that a woman, you're supposed to give up your career in order to be a stay-home mom and look after your kids. The question is, why can't gender roles also be lenient and allow women to go ahead and move towards working for their career and also being mothers? It's unfortunate that it's not just gender roles, it's not just society, but it is also ourselves. We think we cannot do it. But also it goes back to what aspect are you talking about it. So I strongly believe that yes, gender roles, society, social norms, and ourselves, us being our biggest enemies, are the reasons why we think that we cannot both have a successful career and then have a successful married life at the same time.
Penny, for your thoughts, Aggie.
Well, for me, honestly, I feel like I'm more drawn to the side of you as a person, what you want for yourself. Well, culture and gender roles, stereotypes and all those things, they tell you a woman you have to be married by 28, a woman you have to have kids by 30, or else you'll get complications, or they'll look at you a certain way. But we are living in I'll not call it a modern era, but in an era where we are more aware, especially our priorities and the things that we want. If you as Sandra or if you as Shivan, what you put first is your career, then what everyone else says, what gender roles say, what culture says shouldn't be the basis of what you go by. Well, for me, honestly, I feel like if my career comes first, if I want to achieve a certain stage in my career, before I get there, I wouldn't get married. It doesn't matter what my family says. It doesn't matter how much pressure they mount on me to say, when are you, because sometimes you actually go back to the village, let's say during Christmas, and they're like, oh, when are you bringing a husband? You are 26, you're 27. Where is your husband? Everyone expects that you should be dating, or by a certain age, you should bring home a man. Honestly, for me, I am very point blank. What I tell them is, this is it. I want to achieve something. I have goals. I have set goals. So until I achieve my goals, it doesn't matter what you say.
In there, because speaking from what Aggie is saying, you're saying that if you wanted to go ahead to achieve something in life, you would first put having a man and getting married on hold, which means you're literally saying that a woman cannot have both a successful career and a successful married life.
No, that is not
because
what I'm saying.
Why it should be put in a position where you have to put one on hold and work on the other? Why can't the two work simultaneously? We have seen people who because we have seen people, like, for example, I'll give you an example. We have seen someone like Michelle Obama. She's able to do that. We have seen, take a good look. An example is right here. Sandra, she's a fully working woman and very well-trained mother as well. She has it all together. I do not want us to go very far. Let's look at people let's look at Winnie Byanyima. You keep looking up to her. She has a very successful career and a very successful family as well. Let's look at the wife to Robert Chagulanyi. Bobby Chagulanyi. She has it all together. She has amazing children. She also has a fully fledged career. She's taking care of her husband as well. So,
Here's the
because
thing.
the way you're bringing it up,
Yes.
it's like you have to put one on
something
hold,
on hold.
work on the other.
You don't have to put something on hold. What I am talking about is, are you ready as a person? Because by 25, you as Shivan, you could have actually probably achieved what you need to achieve in your career, and you are ready for marriage as well. I am talking about having to bend to people's pressure or society pressure about when are you getting married. If I feel I am not ready to get married, why should I get married? If I feel right now the only thing I can concentrate on is my career, and maybe at a later time when I'm ready for marriage, then that's what it should be.
But you see, a career is not something that you will have. For example, you leave campus when you're 21, and then you pursue your career. By 26, you get married. You can't tell me you've accomplished everything in those years. You can. So you would have to go into marriage and have to juggle career.
You have
and
to be
kids.
ready.
And yes, you can be ready, but there is being ready and the circumstance in which you are in, depending on the family you get married to and what they expect of you. And yes, it can curtail you from following your dreams and meeting your full potential. And whereby I agree with you, Shivan, all these women you have named, Winnie Byanyima, Barbie, Michelle Obama, yes, they have it all. But let's not talk from a place of privilege, because behind, like you said, I might be here at work, and yes, I do have kids and what, but you can't be superwoman. You have like a whole team at the back that is helping you accomplish this. And there are some women who do not have this. They do not have this, and they have to stay home and look after their children because they don't have all that support. But I understand where you're coming from, Aggie. Is it all about timing? That's what you're asking. And before we dig into this, I would like you to watch this. Watch this. As we wait for the video, let's discuss this timing issue. And that's what we were saying, Aggie. Like, you cannot wait to be married and then to do all these other things. What we are saying is to be able to do them. To be able to do them while you...
But also, even while we're looking at the aspect of timing, also women, yes, we understand, you know, we are trying to be emancipated, we know we want gender equality, we do not want to have to choose, because then the question would be, how come men are not supposed to choose between being family people and having careers? Why is it only the women? But also, let's not bite more than we can chew. For example, your job entails you to move over and above the world. You are a mother, you have a toddler. Are you going to be in position to leave your toddler at home, a breastfeeding child for that matter? So there are certain things that you also need to put into consideration as a career woman. Look at your career and the kind of relationship or marriage you want to get into. You cannot start having children when you're at the peak of your career, especially if your career involves moving up and about. You will definitely be doing a disservice to your children and to your husband, because I mean, at the end of the day, unfortunately or fortunately, you are a mother in the home. You ought to be there. You ought to take care of your children. Your children don't want to know if you're working for the UN or if you're the president of the country. That is not their business. You brought them into this world. You might as well take care of them. So I think even us as women...
But where's your partner in all this?
Exactly, but then it takes two to
you are a
tango.
team?
Exactly, now, because you're not going to fly and leave the country and then leave your man behind to take care of a child that is supposed to be breastfeeding. Yes, it's unfortunate that there are women...
Why can't the child go on formula?
Now, you see the world of women that we are getting into. However, I do understand that you might say that why can't a child get on formula? There are women who are in circumstances whereby honestly they have to fend for themselves, or their husbands even don't have well-paying jobs and they are forced to go into other countries, especially countries that are even not safe, because apparently that is where the lucrative money is. But even when you found yourself in such circumstances, I think it's very important that you put your family first. Family is very important. Family is very vital. Your children do not want to know this. It's quite absurd that it's unfortunate that that is the society that we live in. However, that is the way it is. So even in my perspective, I would say, and I will take this from the many times that I've sat down to listen to a relationship coach, and she's called Macron Zuen. And she keeps on saying and encourages that even women, as you go out and look for your career, it is important that you do not lose yourself in the long run and forget that family is also important. Because also for very many women, you go out there, you become career women, and then you forget that, hey, guess what? At the end of the day, you also need a family. So there is also that aspect that you need to look at, that yes, you might be drawn all the way into your career, but you forget the fact that you have a family. So you need to understand that you have the balance, the two. And there is something that you mentioned. The question is, are you ready? Because you might say, oh, yes, to prove a point, and you're trying to prove a point, I can be a career woman and I can also be a wife in a family. And you decide to juggle the two in the aspect of proving a point. The question is, are you ready?
Well, I understand where you're coming from, I feel this is very unfair to women. Because women, you asked, are you ready? Are you ready to juggle? Men never think about these things. Are you ready? Are you?
But for them, are always ready.
Women, you know what? Women are judged so much.
Yes.
When you don't have children, when you delay, you're judged. When you have them, you're not looking after them well. When you have too many, oh my goodness, she's like a rabbit. Like, make up your mind. And this is what we women have to deal with. So you can imagine a career woman who is also a mother and a wife is dealing with. So just watch this video and see what women go through.
So let me get this straight. We are judged if we seek contraception, but we are judged if we get pregnant. We're judged if we get abortions. We're also judged if we keep the baby and have the baby. We're judged if we don't have kids by a certain age. We're judged if we choose not to have kids. We're judged if we have too many kids. Can we just let women be?
Exactly. Can we just let women be? Can we just let them be? But let us look at ways to cope. If you are a career woman and a mother as well, or if you are a young woman who is very, very intent on pursuing her career, but also wants a family, wants children and a husband. So here are the ways to cope. First of all, ask for tips. Ask for tips from other women who are doing it. Let them tell you how they do it, because everybody has a system. So ask for tips, and they'll let you know how they are doing this.
Absolutely. But even as you ask for tips, you should also know that what works for this woman
might not work for you. Just pick what works for you. Don't copy paste. Pick what works for you and just discard what doesn't work for you. And the other one is synchronize. Now synchronize, like when you have a brood, you have 4 kids, 8 kids, make sure that if probably they have sports, they have it on one day. Or if they have painting classes or music classes, it makes it easier because they are in one place at the same time.
Yes.
So synchronize. It makes it much easier for you. Yes. So you're not running around like a headless chicken. It really helps so. And then enlist the village. Now it takes a village to raise a child. So if like your neighbor, they go to the same school, or if, carpooling and all that, so that you don't have to drive all the way there if you have to rush for a meeting. So so that means you have to expand your social capital and get to know people. And then of course, be flexible. Be flexible in what you do. If at work you have to do something, do it and then rush home. Wait when the babies are sleeping to continue your work, so that you can balance it all and prioritize self-care. Because if you don't do this, you will crash and burn. So take some time for yourself and just look after yourself, and then build your team at work. This is very important. Apart from delegating, you can also collaborate. Because if you collaborate, you do half the work and you still get the credit. So that is very helpful. So you keep the front at work, things going on that front. And convenience is key. If you live in Tinder, don't get a school of Entebbe Road. Convenience is key. Pick schools around hospitals and all these places, even recreational places that is around, so that you're not burned out. And then have a one-on-one with your children or your husband. Take time to have a one-on-one, and you can do this when you're running errands. Yes, you have a one-on-one with them, so that you stay with that connection to your family. And lastly, let go. Learn to understand that you won't be there all the time. And this is actually quite good, because such kids, they learn to be independent. Yes. And your husband would learn to manage the kids and the family. Don't worry yourself out. Learn to let go.
But yeah, but it's also very important to understand that you may not necessarily have it all. But also, even while you're talking about having conversations with your partner, you might want to make sure that also your partner that you're with is very supportive. Have a conversation and tell your partner, I want to be a career woman, but at the same time, I want to be your wife and I want to look after our kids. Could you please help me out? Like, let him know, because some of them can be that oblivious and pretend that these things are not
It's
happening.
all your work.
Well, this conversation could go on and on and on, but in the essence of time, we have to go now. But it can continue on our social media pages at CTV Uganda. And don't forget to use the hashtag CTV Sunrise. Can career women have it all? Have the perfect marriage and be able to raise children as well. Well, that was all we had for you on our views this morning. But don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back as Aggie says goodbye.
Well, just like they say, every good thing must come to an end. Finally, we have come to the end of Sunrise at Sea this morning, but you can continue the conversations and also be part of CTV by following us on our social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. Engage in our conversations. You can also follow us. But from me and the team, we wish you a very lovely day.